let's get stuck in. First and foremost, if you're watching this on record on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button for more content like this. Secondly, 3 new members to welcome. First and foremost, everyone here, wave to our new members in the group. Basically, Attila, Kyle and Rhonda, welcome to the group. You're more than welcome, guys, at any point in time to attend these 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard or Daylight Time, so Melbourne time, 10 a.m. every single week, where we unpack a lot of questions from rental trainers and online trainers, but primarily rental trainers, that they have to help their business progress forward and to grow. So utilize this free resource, guys. All right, so with the 9 of us that are here today, let's get stuck in. Again, I don't really have too much. Obviously, there's been, obviously everyone knows I took a day on Monday just to collect myself mentally. Been going through a lot of stressful shit at the moment. So thank you for your patience. Therefore, I haven't really prepared anything for this week, which I think is a good enough excuse as to why I haven't prepared anything this week. So we're going to Q&A this. There are some things that I know that some of us guys here have been speaking about that we can speak about, but anything from anyone to kick it off, questions about business in general, about anything, and then we'll see where we go from here.
I had a quick question, Simon.
Okay, let's kick it off. Let's go.
You know how we spoke last week about the database and sending out those weekly or fortnightly tips?
Yes.
Can I start doing that now?
Yeah, 100%. All right. So how many people have you got on your database?
Probably I could 300. I've got everyone from my Christmas one. Actually, so I've got way more than that.
You would have
500-600.
Exactly. So, all right, let's pre-frame this for people who aren't up to speed with it. Now, there's a new strategy here that we kind of come up with. I say new now, it's probably been best part of a year ago, where we bulk blast reoccurringly to a database. So everyone here will probably have had text messages from, I always say U-Foods is the one that gets me the most, right? You subscribe and buy meals from U-Foods, and then next minute you're getting text message reminders about buying stuff. Anyway, anyone ever had those sort of text messages that come through? You know what I'm talking about, right? So what we've come up with is a strategy that is different to the approach that most people take, where normally it's about selling something or there's an offer to claim. What we want to do is actively engage your database, which is ever growing. So for example, Doba, if you run the floor to the floor, you get 60 new leads, you put them into your database, that database now has 60 in it. If you get a new members list next week, there's 20 people, you add them into your database, it now has 80 in it. So it's going to grow, and what you want to do is continuously warm a database, because most people market cold to a database, right? We do this by doing a series of tips, right? So we could definitely pour some energy into this one if you wanted to today, sure. But you can do it now. Of course you can. Nathan, who's normally here, he's the only client that does this. Nathan speaks about, he has around about 1,000 members off the top of my head. It's 800-900, I think it is, that he bulk blasts to. The first time that you do this, because we put a little opt out at the bottom or stop, you'll get a lot of people say stop. That's fine. Again, people don't want to receive the tips. That's fine. But after that, you'll find that the people that don't say stop, they're happy to absorb free information from you, tips, tricks, little guidelines of like a, you know, get your 3 liters of water in a day and it will help with aiding fat loss, whatever, right? This list we'll be more than happy to discuss today, because it's down to you as the trainer about what you want to bulk blast. But it'll basically give people value, and it keeps you in their thoughts so that when they're ready to prioritize their health and fitness, they can jump to you straight away. So 100% Ray, you can start doing it. Frequency, because this is the most commonly asked question, it's like once a fortnight, but Nathan saying that he wants to up it now to once a week. I wouldn't recommend going in cold with this sort of strategy once a week. I'd probably start it at once a fortnight, once every 2-3 weeks. And then from there, over time, you can increase the frequency for sure. And yeah, it works. I mean, Nathan, he said himself, I think most of you can probably remember telling us, or Nathan telling us this, that he has people that message him back saying, hey, Can I do some PT? And a lot of that is because of them being kept close with the bulk blasting. So yeah, that's the strategy. You know, whether you want to run through any messages or any tips or anything like that, Ray. But otherwise, what I would say is make a list of them. I should normally have a template of a list that you could take, but I don't like to do that because I think each individual trainer who has their own individual take on their business needs to put their own individual tips together. For example, if you don't need to have 2 to 3 liters of water, like I said before, then I wouldn't recommend you putting that out there. If you're not making your clients drink 2 to 3 liters of water, don't give it away as a tip, right? So yeah, anything else on that one that you want to learn about, Ray, or for me to help you with it? No. Have you got training for SA group text? You do? Yeah. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it for the Christmas hamper.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Got it. That's the main thing. Again, with that Christmas hamper strategy as well, like it's a really good one. The importance of it is like compounding all the strategies together, right? So if you didn't use SA group text at Christmas, then yeah, it's a really good additional piece of software to use in your business. So that's a good one. There you go. Yes, you can start running that strategy. The only thing with this strategy and what turns people off a little bit is that it takes 10 minutes, and for a lot of people 10 minutes can feel like 10 hours. So yeah, it takes time, but everything takes time. But I recommend doing it, and I recommend that everyone should be running it, but only when the time is right. Like, you know, we've got more important stuff to prioritize, like I said there with Dan before, like running floor to the floor and already having his first few signups on board since coming on board, which is awesome. So well done, Dan. That's more of a priority right now for Dan, right? So if you ever have any questions, like I always say, just, these general Q&As are general in nature. So rather than just implementing first, always run it by your coach just to make sure they think it's the right time. So yeah, that's that. Good stuff, Ray. Anyone else? Questions? Anything? Hi, Tam. Great to see you, Tam.
I've got a question, mate.
Let's go, mate.
Just talking about that Christmas hamper.
Yeah.
I had quite a few leads that in the end, I didn't get to every single lead.
Yes.
How can we re-engage with those guys and what can we offer them?
All right. So this always happens every year. We run a hamper strategy. I think Tane, I think you probably wouldn't mind me saying you're an example of this. Like it got to like March and you're like, fuck man, like I haven't done anything with these 400 leads I generated, right? You would have been the same as well, Ash, right? You obviously got a ton of leads. It was in the hundreds. Like every year this strategy generates more and more leads, and it's always in the hundreds. At that point in time of Tane, it was like, look, I just said to people, when March hits, which is now, well, we're now in April, right? So it's like, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, they're fucking cold leads. They're gone. They're well and truly cold. However, Ray's first point is how you can engage them. With that bulk blasting reoccurring strategy, the idea of keep giving them tips is so when we drop offers in, or claim free sessions for the first 20 people only, you'll get a higher response rate. So you could do that, but that's, you know, like that's going to take you a few weeks worth of bulk blasting. For you to answer the question bluntly, Ash, like there's not really much you can do unless you want to come really clean with people and just be open and transparent and say, what's up guys, it's Ash from Good Life. You entered to win XYZ hamper at Christmas. We've had a lot of stuff go on. It's been a busy start to the year. Do you know what I mean? And you've just got to come clean and just say, we've completely pushed to the side everyone, which doesn't look the best, but some people may have not pity, but they may understand because you're being honest, right? I haven't actioned this, or the club collectively hasn't actioned this. So now we're actioning it, and therefore we're giving people, you know, runners up, and you are one of them, XYZ, and you book them in. If you would like to take advantage of this session, just reply with a thumbs up, because we now have the capacity to take on the sessions as we didn't before, right? That's what you just got to come clean and communicate really openly with people about it, man. It's a really, really good question, but this is why, again, it's that marketing marathon. I think we normally go run it for about 8 weeks or so, right? Start sort of middle of November to prep for starting at the start of December, run it for a month, and then you've got a follow-up of like a month, ideally. But the follow-ups can take, when you've got leads in the hundreds, it can take 2 or 3 months, which takes you through to March. But by March, you should be finished with it. Every year, there are people that do not action because of the volume. Like people have, you put all the effort into generating the leads, but then you have so much volume of leads that you're like, oh, shit, like how do I take this many consults, or do, you know, like how do I look after this many people? I'm looking forward to, say, Jack, Grant, who else? Jack, Grant, and Dan, obviously, to run this Christmas around. Like it's a power strategy. But yeah, it's up to you, bro. Without being like too much of like not very much help. Yeah, they're cold, but they go into the database, and the database ideally is bulk blasted. But again, for people like yourself, people that are busy, like hired their first trainer, so congratulations, brother. But still in the training, in the early stages of leverage, asking someone like you, Ash, with the cards that we have been dealt with, right, as dads, to go and do a 10-minute strategy per week, it's going to feel like 10 hours of extra time you need to come and find. You know what I mean? So it's hopefully that makes sense. But again, it relates back into raid. That's how I would tackle it, or just come clean. Hopefully that helps, brother. All right, anyone else? Next questions.
Sort of on that.
Yeah.
So with the Christmas strategy, obviously, you know, reached out to people, did their Christmas consult and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, like with the, you know, how the gym's been running the free PT session stuff and that as well.
Yeah.
And then I've had people follow up that I did the Christmas strategy with, that I did their consult and that, and they didn't sign up, and then they've been quiet about their free PT session that they got when they signed up to the gym.
Yeah.
What would be your recommendation on how to take that consult differently to what we've done? Yeah, differently to what we've done through the Christmas type strategy. Would you say?
I know what you're saying. It's the combination of two different types of things that they wanted to claim, that basically one is approached a different way, one is approached differently with language that doesn't evolve around New Year's and Christmas and stuff. I think like all of these sorts of things, when things overlap and they kind of cross into each other, it's always about, like I've said with Ash there, right? It's about coming clean and just being honest, or pre-framing. So like, you just got to pre-frame with them like, look, you've got this and this, right? How about we come to the solution of doing this? This is what I'm going to do for you. How does that sound, right? And just like, remember, I think the way we structure the New Year's stuff, it's the only time where we do 2 parts. Noted, Tam. 1 second, I'll try and get this out. So it's the only time where you split everything into 2 parts, right? Mind session and a body session, because as a runner-up, as a prize, or of a prize or a main prize, they get more value. Whereas normally we do 2-part mind and body training session in 1 part, right? As long as you can try and make sure that you don't have to deliver too many separate parts. And I'm making this individualized for you, Tane, with the 345s that we discussed on Saturday. Just come to them and communicate like you've got this and this, and they might even have the 345s as well. Just say, look, what we spoke about on the phone, basically. Like, we can give you this. This is what I can give you. You're probably going to get better value from this anyway. We'll cover what we would normally cover in all of those sessions in this amount of time. Because a lot of people will probably come from a place of, well, I want 345s. I want the 2 for Christmas, plus I want the 1 that you've advertised, right? Because the people, right? That's where you've just got to lay the gauntlet, lay politely the law down, right? Yeah. Where we're basically saying, I ain't giving you fucking 6 sessions. I'll give you 1, right? And we'll go into detail about what to do in that 1 session, if that makes sense. There's the professional Simon for you, rather than the gauntlet Simon.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Does that answer the question, bro?
Yes, sort of. The other part to it too was like the ones that we've done with the Christmas, because we do that 2-part mind the body, that I've taken that so recently that I was contemplating giving them another session, but I was wondering if there's a different structure. Let's say if we'd, I don't know, run a marketing strategy and then you had a lead come in that you recently already did a consult with, how would you, is there a way that you would recommend advice? Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 2 parts to this, and again, Tam, haven't forgotten. I can see your point.
No, I was just gonna say something on Tane's question, but you can
go for it.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, sometimes you just know that someone's a lost cause, like they're never gonna become your client. If you know that, tell the gym, like your manager, whoever, like, look, I've taken them for 2 free sessions. I understand you still have to give them a session, but I think I've done my part. Maybe one of the other PTs can take it. Like, you don't have to tell them they're a lost cause. If they have luck converting them, then they have luck. They were never right for you in the first place. But like, I'm sure your manager would understand in some way. You've done 2 sessions with them already. Like, everyone knows that people try and get the most out of free things. So that's
correct. That's correct. Unfortunately, Tane's manager wouldn't understand, and unfortunately, every single PT in that gym works for Tane. So that's
right.
I appreciate the advice there, Tammy. I like it. Yeah.
But first and foremost, Tam is 1,000,000% correct, right? But what it needs to do is come from you to the client and basically say, look, like, you've had this, more than happy to go through things again, but you're going to get exactly the same thing here. Where are your goals at? What do you struggle with? What do you need? And what do you really want to do to overcome them? This, and just say, the first time we spoke of you, it was a mind and body part. What I'm happy to do now with this one is we'll just focus on the mind, right? Because these people have the mental block. They're the ones that, not saying that anyone that never signs up for PT has a mental block. Like, the timing might not be right for people, X, Y, Z. There's lots of liable actual excuses that are real. But I would basically say, look, what we'll give you again is the opportunity to come in, and I'll do a half-hour sit down. We'll focus on the mind part, and let's talk about you. Obviously, and this is what I would say, and this is honestly what I'd say. Obviously, you're thinking, right, within your mind, that you probably want to maybe give this a shot, right? You've come back around again. If you'll be able to tell straight away if they're coming to bludge sessions off you, and if they are, you just politely show them the door. You'll be able to gauge it, and that's what I think Tammy's saying as well. It's really well said. Tell the manager, or don't in your situation, but you know what I mean. Just move them away to the side, right, and just say, I'm sorry, we can't help you. Do you know what I mean? Like, more than happy to help you. And if you want to come in again, then we can focus on the mind side of stuff. This goes back into a more deep thing we've been talking about recently, guys. The 3 types of PT, right? The rep counter, which is a physical trainer, right? And they're all types of PT. So you've got physical trainers, personal trainers, and the psychological trainer, right? And that, like, I'll open up this chat as well. I can see this chat going on. So with the psychological trainers, guys, right? You want to have this, you want to take this psychological element of PT and really amplify that. The only resistance that people will have is in here, right? Where their brain instantly will tell them, you cannot do this because cost of living is going up. You cannot do this because I like, it's a fear of jumping out of a comfort zone, right? You also got to remember as well, take this a little bit deeper, guys. Like, I mean, part and parcel of this, the mental stuff I go through all the time, is we work in a very fucking tough industry. I'd literally take my hats off to every single one of you for what you put yourselves through every day. It's fucking hard. You're dealing with trying to sell people something that they don't necessarily need, right? But without, they will not take action with on their own. But you're selling them, so you're taking money from someone to punish them, realistically, with moving more, eating less food that they want to eat, right? Do you know what I mean? Hopefully that's not ice cream in that bowl you're eating there, Tash, and it's healthy shit, right? You know what I mean? But you know, you're taking money off people to get them to exert pressure and force on their body and to eat healthy foods which people don't want to eat. It is freaking hard. You know what I mean? So you've got to. It's going back to the point. It's hard to get through to people, but you've really got to try to be the psychological trainer and combined with the personal aspect and the physical aspect, as long as you're not just scrolling on your phone in your session, right? To really try and get the best out of your clients. If you can do that, you'll retain 100% of your clients for as long as possible before obviously the time comes where they may achieve their goals or they want to move on, right? And that's why you've always got to focus on that deep part of it. Hopefully that ramble kind of made sense, guys. Makes sense, Tane? Yeah. Focus on just giving them a 30-minute mental session again and just say, look, has anything changed here, or are you ready to rock and roll? And that's it. You know, never feel bad about also, you know, subtly, professionally and politely telling people, like, we're here for anybody at any time, but what we're not here to do is continuously deliver the same things over and over and over and over again, where our time is valuable. We have a lot of clients in this new amazing facility that's being expanded here in Geraldton, right? We've got to focus naturally on what we have in front of us. But if you ever need anything, come to us at any time, you know, always leave your arms open, and eventually they'll go, do you know what? That's the PT that I want to work with. Do you know what? Like, I'm sick and tired of getting fatter and fatter and fatter. I need a kick in the ass. And my financial situation, ironically, is actually worse off now than it was before, but they would happily pay double now, right, to get into shape because they really want it. They now really want it. And that's the psychological aspect of the whole thing. So hopefully that helps. Next. This is looking good.
I've got another one.
Okay, there we go. Thought I was going to be able to go early then. All right.
No,
good.
sorry, buddy, not today. Question about terms and conditions. I am a bit of a stiffler with my contracts for sure.
Yeah, nice.
So let's say I do a 3-month contract with someone.
Mhm.
I've currently got a lady who signed up for 3 sessions a week, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
She's got 2 children who have got physical disability.
Yeah.
Which I understand, and I have a big heart for that as well. So she's a month into her 3 months, and now she wants to pull the pin through emotional, physical. She's not getting much support from her husband, and financially as well.
Yeah.
Look, I'm normally a stiffler. I don't know where to go with this one, because I know mentally it's draining her in general, but also I've got other people who have pulled the pin, and I've set the rules down and said you've got to pay 80% of what's left. I don't know where to go with this one because I get along with her super well, and I totally understand where she's coming from. I'm a bit perplexed about what to do and what to say and where to go.
First and foremost, terms and conditions and contracts and obligations, which is just purely business, right? You guys have them, I have them, any professional entity will have them, right? It's an agreement, right? They're there to protect you. It's that simple. So therefore, they're also there to be fallen back on if need be, to protect you. So you can wholeheartedly deliver the best ash to these people, go above and beyond psychologically, physically, and personally to ensure they get results, right? And then you obviously get benefited for that service too. Now, the whole mental thing is a bit of a tricky one, right? Because when people go through things mentally, they need a bit of support. And you know, they'll feel like the world's crashing around them and stuff like this. So then when someone's being vulnerable and so they're going through a lot of mental stuff, you then say, well, you've got to pay $3,000, right? Or whatever it may be, you know, the 12 weeks worth of a gold package, you know, you'll give them 80% or 20% discount, but you still got to pay 80. It can go down the wrong way very quickly, right? You know what I mean? And then it can cause a lot of grief and tension. It's got to be judged on a client by client basis, but at the same time, from a business stance, the contracts are there to protect you. Excuse me. So I would work with this person to potentially hold off on the training, enable a pause, right? But a lot of people will, if instead of quitting, a lot of people, if anyone ever had clients that go on time hold, but then quit after their time hold? Anyone had that? Like, it's a lot of people will do that. Like, so if you actually welcome a pause before resumption of training when their mindset is in a better place, right? Some of them will just fade away. Therefore, again, you will find a lot of the time that people are there to escape. and will play. I'm not saying this is the case of this person at all, but would play on a lot of people's emotional heartstrings and say they're going through shit to try and get you to be the top bloke that you are, to let them out of their contract, right? And like, you've got to be careful. And there's not really a right and a wrong one for this one. This is why it's a really good question, brother. It's a case by case basis. You've got to analyze this stuff with, but without sounding horrible, but the business person in me is the T's and C's are there to protect you. What I will say is the motivational Kickstarter video, right? Any more people, hands up if they have a motivational Kickstarter. I don't know whether anyone here's got one. I'm telling you guys right now, there's a lot of reasons why small things that I put into the portal are there. The motivational Kickstarter video is something here that you can then fall back on, right? You can fall back on it and relate and relay to them to watch again, to show them that this is one of those times where they'll feel the world is crumbling around them. They're not achieving results. They've got financial pressures or they've got lack of priorities at this time, right? But as long as you don't quit, you will never lose and you'll never fail, right? This is what the motivational Kickstarter is for, primarily, is to get people to always think, with me, right? Or with Simon as my coach, or with Jack as my PT, or Ray, right? I will not fail if I don't quit. That he's told me and warned me about these troublesome times. I'm going through them. So I need to trust the process, right? Does that make sense as well, Ash, with this motivational Kickstarter? Like, there's two reasons why we have it. Number one is to motivate them. But number two, it's there as a relay to give people, or to put them in the direction of, when they're going through hardship and they're going through troublesome times. Watch that motivational Kickstarter again. This is exactly what I'm talking about. But then again, don't come from a place of like, if you give off the aurora that it is for like, I just want to collect your cash. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't, because we never come from a place of wanting to work for money. We're always working to help. Tam, you want to input on this one?
I don't know how to phrase this. I completely agree with you, what you were saying about, like, you can bounce someone back into the mindset that like they should be doing this, it's good for them, blah blah blah. But I've had a client recently who, like, his mental health has just gone like to shit. Like, I can tell he's depressed, and I've watched, like, I see him once a week, but I've watched over the past year, like, his work's just taking over, like he hates it, he's stressed, but he's not doing anything about it. And I've tried to tap into that, but it got to a point where I'd like see him and I would feel shit. Like, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, I had a session with him, and I genuinely, it would ruin the rest of my day, because he would literally dampen my mood. And if you know that, look, I don't know what your client's like, Ash, but if you know that this is such a burden for her, like, it's not worth it for you either. Like, yeah, you'll get some money, but you'll find another client. Like, the other thing is, like, I love like these ethical conversations, but like, if you know it's so hard for someone to pay that much money, and yes, they've signed up to 3 months and they've already done one only, like, do you feel like a better person for letting them go? Or is the money that important to you that you can't find it somewhere else? That's my take.
I completely agree with the take. Completely.
But I'm not a business person, so that's why that's my take. I'm very much like, yeah, like pleasing people. So
you don't care about the money as much. No, like honestly, like I've said again, T's and C's, contracts and obligations are there to protect businesses. We run businesses. I cannot stand when clients of mine get taken the piss out of by clients. Like, Jack has a no-show. This guy's not a client, right? But it's a prospect. How many people have had no-shows? Probably loads of you have had them today. Do you know, like, you've got to stand firm with the business, but you've also got to have the empathetical approach. But I really love what Tammy said there. I can't help but having this like running theme of this week with mental health. I mean, I know obviously I've been open. I love myself for being open with stuff like that, because I think it also shows to you guys that you should also welcome and talk about that shit too, right? This is also, Ash, like Tam said, question, is it worth the mental stress of yourself, knowing that this person who has, yes, signed the contract, and yes, you'll probably stand to lose a couple of K or whatever. Is it worth the ongoing grief? These people as well, these clients that we do love, you know, I hate to say it, but you'll go and sign up another one in 2 or 3 days' time, who's fresh, who comes from a good place, who mentally it doesn't go. And this isn't every client that goes through this, you know, even though mental health is a big thing, right? This is a once-off. Do you know what I mean? So what are your thoughts with that, bro? And anyone else on this as well, because it's one of we're business owners. You're here to make it, but where do you go?
Yeah, I've got a client that has trained with me 3 times a week for over a year.
Yeah.
So she's not on any contract or anything. I don't do contracts, but she's recently lost her job.
Yeah.
I'm just giving perspective on
Yeah.
this. So I'm giving her 1 month of free training, 1 session a week, not 3. 1 session a week, you catch up with me, because Rachel, this is the worst time to not work out for your head and your mental health. In fact, I'm giving you a challenge that within 1 month, you need to get yourself a job and then start paying me for two sessions or 3 sessions. And that's it. It's banter, it's fun, it's like motivational talks during that 1 session. I make it more fun. There's no goals or there's nothing around it. There's a bit of boxing, there's a bit of ropes, ball slams, strength training. Yeah. That's all I do. So after 1 month, if she comes back, awesome. If she doesn't, that's fine. But instead of me giving random consults to random people I don't know, here's a person I know who needs to train. So I'm giving her my support, and being a small business, I've been giving her 4 hours, like 45 minutes times 4 of my time. And that's it. If she comes back, awesome. If she doesn't, I'll ask her for a review or a video testimonial. Happy days. Good luck. Go on.
Amazingly put, brother. Well said. Because that's what it is. Like, and I always say as well, like, not to deviate away from the topic, because we'll get Ash's perspective in a second. Because again, brother, it's something we want to resolve here for you. But like, I always say, PTs, that like you're taking that many consults, right? Anyway, if a client who's going through legitimate tough times, right, needs you for a bit of support. Now, again, like you're better off coming from a place of like what Jack said. I'm not going to give you gold for 4 weeks. So I'm delivering 12 sessions, but I'll give you 1 session a week for free for the next 4 weeks, where you've got to find a job, right? You don't need to pay me for them. And then you're obviously knowing there's a potential that she may not come back and pay and keep going. This is the type of person that in the future comes back to Jack, because she will never forget what he did for her during a tough time that she was going through, right? But Jack recognizes that, hey, I may lose the client, I may keep them, right? You're not doing it out of greed, going, all right, I'll give you 4 and then you've got to stay on with me, or you're at least hoping they will, but then they won't. So then when they don't leave the testimonial, because you leave them not aggressively, but you don't leave them leave on best possible terms. And then the relationship's ruined, right? You're going in with the mindset that they might not actually be coming back anyway. So it's well said. But yeah, Ash, hopefully what Tam and Jack have said there, I'm with both. Well, it's not even 2 sides. We're all on the same side. But yeah, what are your thoughts on how to handle this one, Ash?
Well, it's definitely complex. To dive deeper, her kids get NDIS. So when she first started, she thought she was getting some funding coming in, which fell through. So she does need a new wheelchair for one of her kids, which is 35 grand, which is big. She's actually, this lady's a exercise physiologist. So she actually was lecturing at the uni. So she knows lots about exercise, which is great coming to me. I'm definitely happy to reduce her sessions down to like 1 a week, because she has said lots of times that she really needs me for her own mental health and someone to guide her. My philosophy is a lot more coaching. So her third child's just been diagnosed with anorexia, and they want to get her tested for autism. So I went and bought her a book called Embrace Kids, which is a lot about the bodies of children.
Nice.
So I bought her that book. On Friday, she came in, and within 5 minutes, she was in tears because of her life in general. So I cancelled the session and went and got coffee. So I know that I don't want to give up on her. I feel like I'd give up on her if I just pushed her away, because I deep down know that she needs at least 1 session a week for her own mental health and just to get her into the gym.
Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page here, and we're all very amazing people here. I feel there's a very good energy in this call today. So well done. I love all you guys. You're all awesome. And thank you for helping me with my own shit this week. I say that again to all of you as a group. But I think the solution here then, therefore, is a drop sell right down to the cheapest package you offer. You can honor the terms and conditions, but I'll drop it to what we know that you need is something that you've told me you need is for your mental health, 1 session a week. Just rejig the T's and C's and say, look, I'm not going to get you to do the gold at 45s or whatever. We'll drop you down to the price point of 145 per week or 1/2 or whatever. Let's get your mental health looked after and reassess at the end of seeing out these T's and C's. But you can tweak the T's and C's for them so that you're still getting paid. This is someone who obviously, look, they've got an expensive 35 grand there, right? But this is someone who knows and is happy to pay for your service. She's told you that. She's pretty much told you. But the full whack of what she committed to when she could afford it before the hardship has obviously come in financially, might not be able to commit to anymore. So I just drop it down, see out the T's and C's, and then you can reassess from there. That's what I do with the combination of what you, Tammy, and Jack said expertly. There you go. We continue. It's good. Nice. Anything else from anyone? Yeah, Michael.
Just on that as well, like I've had a lot of clients where you do the drop sell, you bring them down, put them on hold, because I think we all got into this business to help people, not just physically, but help them with their mental stability and everything as well. But you've also got to have a bit of a bullshit meter when it comes to these people when they're going, oh, everything's going wrong, I've got to do all this. So with my one, I'll put them on hold. I've even trained people while they've been on hold. But then you do get the ones that say, oh, everything's going wrong, so you'll cancel it. And then the next week they've gone and bought a brand new WRX because they're telling you they've got no money to pay for anything. And you're like, sweet, no dramas. So like you said before, it's got to be case by case, but we're here to help people. We've also got to feed our families at the same time. So for me, I always have a 30-day cancellation policy in my contract. So if they're going to cancel, they've got to pay for their sessions for 30 days before they go.
Yeah, man, I'm really glad you said that, because that was screaming from the inside of me the whole time, but I was choosing to be very empathetical and nice. Have a fucking bullshit monitor, guys. People are there to fucking rape you, and it's not disgusting. It's not disgusting, I say that. It's the fucking truth. People will play and prey on the fact that, oh, this is just a personal trainer, yeah? It's my PT, like, they'll understand. I'll just treat them like shit. I'll no-show. I won't pay them. Do you know what I mean? I don't tolerate that for my clients. I don't tolerate that for any business owner in any industry. And therefore, have a bullshit monitor. Yeah, and this one, I think with Ash is definitely not a bullshit scenario. But like Michael said, have a bullshit radar for people that will try and take the piss. And you have to do that. Damo, yes, my man.
Hey guys, so hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm just in the car.
Yeah, mate, all good.
But yeah, just like sort of on that as well, because it's something that I've been like discussing with myself a little bit as well with my client. Because like obviously our role is like the personal trainer, right? So like that guy who's now went and bought a WRX, and then pushes, I guess, health and fitness and the trainer aside, right? So like with a lot of our clients, I guess, yeah, their life is always adjusting and we adjust with it. But like I've been having a little bit of not a pushback to my clients, but I feel like it's me doing my job better as a trainer, because I now address things like, hey, I'm your personal trainer. Like you employ me to keep you accountable. Yeah. You employ me to kick your ass. You employ me to tell you when you're off track. Like that's actually my job. And if you don't want to hear it, and if you want to leave the contract and you think it's easy, like it's not, because that's me doing my job, the very reason why you employed me. So if you don't like it, deal with it, because I'm doing my job and the job that you wanted me to do. So you're welcome, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, because I have people that, oh, I didn't do my program and I didn't this. And, you know, sometimes I'm always like, how's training going? And then sometimes we feel bad because it's like we're hassling our clients. But I'm like, no, like I only know you because you employed me to work. Like, So the fact that now I'm asking, how's your training going? How you going? What's your macros? How come you missed training? Like, it's not like I'm calling them every day, bugging them. It's like even in that one weekly check-in, I had one client say to me, oh, you know, sometimes I feel like the check-in, you know, it's just a bit much. This is the same client who's been missing training and coming up with kids. I'm like, the one check-in a week. So you mean that one session, that one check-in, so you want me not to do my job? So you want to pay me not to work? I don't get it. So
well, you want to pay me for me to accept that you're not happy doing a check-in.
Yeah. So
any of you motherfuckers haven't done your check-in right now for me this week.
Yeah.
Get it done, right? Get it done.
But it's like if you, Simon, then said like to us, like, oh, how come you didn't do your check-in? And then I got upset at you. You'd be like, like, bro, I'm trying to help.
Right?
Like, it's why you pay me the money. Like, so yeah, so obviously I don't address it so blunt like that to the client.
Yeah.
But it's something that I needed to realize, no, wait a minute, like I'm that PT guy. Like I'm obsessed about training. It's my passion, it's my life, it's what's made me a professional at it, hence why people pay me. So if I'm not being that person in their life, I'm trying to be someone else in their life. Like I'm trying to be their therapist, even though, yes, we're like casual counselors and we're this and we're that. We're a lot of things. Like you said, we have a very unique set of skill sets as trainers. But you know, there is a point if someone's got like mental health issues or they got financial issues, it's like, well, look, we can shine light, we can motivate, support, and we definitely have our own experiences, but it's like, I'm also your trainer. So like, you know, if you signed up to this, I'm doing my job, and it's like that thing, like Simon would to us, it's like, but I will get your results. So it's like, let's continue, like let's, you know, push forward. So yeah, I hope that anyway shines a bit of light.
Brother, I'm really glad you said that. This is, I think, this is where your authority and confidence in your own selves has to shine through. It's the same with me, right? By the way, I expect check-in forms from all of these 15 people within the next 20 minutes, right? Yeah, sure, Jack, it's already done. Well, Jack, yours is actually already done, right? You're an A-grade student, yeah? Not like anyone else here. No, I'm joking. But you know what I mean? Like, think about it like this, right? Like Damon's saying, when you sign up, right, with Damien, imagine if Damo said, do you want me to give up on you next week? What? No, we've only just started working with each other, right? Now, what they're asking you to do when times get tough is basically give up on them. And I think that's a way to summarize what Damo said there. Damo has basically turned around and said, I ain't giving up on you. You have, right, asked me to do this job where I am a personal trainer, right? I'm a personal trainer. I take a personal approach. I've got to handle your bullshit excuses. You told me you want a kick in the ass. I've told loads of you guys that have been on these seminars for a long time. I've told you guys, like, one of the most productive sessions that I've ever had was like not being physical, sitting down and giving someone who asked for accountability and a kick in the ass, no worries, Ash. And I gave it to them and they came back next week and lost 2 kilos, right? They've asked for that. So Damo, what you said there, my man, was absolute fire and it was spot on. Never, guys, not, well, it's hard though to speak what Damo's just said, right? It's hard. Especially when a client says, I've got this, and this going on, and then you want to trump it by going, hang on a second, I'm just going to speak my mind here, take it at face value. Again, pre-frame that you're about to let shit go, right? But then go, I ain't giving up on you. I told you at the start, this is where, again, the motivational Kickstarter, I'm telling you, for you, Damo, if you added the motivational Kickstarter into your business, bro, massive. That would be huge for you because you can put all of this real energy into it and then go watch that freaking video again. I ain't given up on any of my clients. You told me at the start. You can even add this into pre-exercise questionnaires, guys. Are you someone who needs accountability, right? I think it's already in our pre-exercise questionnaire. Do you need education in the gym, accountability, nutrition advice? These are people that are telling you they need this shit, and then they come to you with an objection, right? And expect you to bow down and let them walk away. Now, I think you can tell with all of us here, this is the last thing that we are doing here is trying to cling on to a client because of monetary reasons. It's because we give a crap. So Damo, continue, brother, yeah?
Yeah, so like just to add on that as well, like that message as well isn't necessarily something that I project to the client always.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just an internal dialogue, because when a client isn't doing their stuff or performing and we want the best for them, we can get frustrated with that client. But it's also to have that internal dialogue to just be like, no, wait a minute, they pay me. Like, keep doing my job, keep checking in, keep putting the, like, don't drop the ball, don't not do the check-in, don't not follow up, don't not put in the effort. It's like keep going, because then sometimes, yeah, they just need to get over their own little hump and then they're through the other side. So that's also, yeah, sometimes that doesn't need to be said to them, say it to yourself and not get frustrated with that client or
correct. I think that's well said. Whereas I just go out and tell every single client bluntly straight away, like, you know, I wouldn't say it internally, I just voice it externally. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, like, say it to yourself, you know, but sometimes I'm also going to say, don't feel bad if you were to express openly to the right client who you know can understand that language, right? Tell them openly as well. Like, you know, Ray, you asked me when you came to work with me that you needed a kick in the ass. This is me giving you one. Like, you've also told me that you have a past track record of using PTs for 3 months and then quitting. You're doing it again. Why are you doing it again? Right? And if I'm not bringing this up with you, I'm not doing my job. So you've employed me to help break the cycle. So yeah. Have you got anything there, Tash, or is that just you coming off mute?
Yeah, just to, I've got a few issues coming up, obviously, with coming into winter and stuff like that. So what I'm putting together, I've done it over COVID, but I'm actually re-implementing it for winter here in Melbourne. I'm putting together, because I've got a lot of people that are worried about coming back into the gyms, that sort of thing. And I'm updating my cancellation policy for obviously winter to try and limit the amount of cancellations I'm having. So basically I'm putting together a document that I'm going to be sending out to all my clients, updating them on the options for winter as well. And obviously I know a lot of people are struggling in winter for mental health as well. But putting obviously policies into practice. So basically saying, obviously, face-to-face training is available, virtual training is available. If they've got access to a gym in their apartment block, if they're in that facility, then they can use that if they need stuff for home, but giving them sort of an in-depth aspect. So it basically keeps them accountable, but keeps them moving forward, but doesn't actually, it reduces the amount of cancellations. But also from my aspect is like, obviously us as trainers, we are up early, we work late, we tend to get sick as well. It's basically also letting them know that, you know, we are human ourselves. So basically outlining what I expect from my clients in this time frame, but also what I will be doing to ensure then that they're still going to be looked after for whatever reason it happens to be.
Yeah, I think it's good because it minimalizes an excuse outlet of I can't come to the gym because I have this.
Yeah.
So you can say, look, we can still do the session remotely.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. And you know, if you have a type of clientele base that have those sorts of objections or I don't really want to cause it an excuse, because it's not an excuse. It's something that's very real, right? If you are not feeling like you want to go to the gym today for mental health reasons, right? For example, we can train remotely. Let's do an over the phone session. Like we speak about this new coaching package that we created, right? Like let's trade off this session for a mental health coaching session. Now, again, like you don't need to be a psychologist to do this. But a lot of people just need people to be there for them if they need to chat, right?
Yeah.
Being a personal, physical, and psychological trainer involves physical things, personal approach, and psychological things, right? So you can do things over the phone or Zoom and stuff, and I think that's fine.
Just a quick quick question for you, Simon. So I was thinking about potentially for this document I'm putting together, doing something similar to what we've done with the ebook the template you did for the student offering and stuff like that, doing something similar to that I can then just email out to people. What's your thought on how do you sort of create those templates in Canva?
So what to give to your clients if they want to stay at home or what?
So basically it's outlining, like I said, my winter training sort of protocol with the T's and C's. I want to put a document together that I can email them so that they've actually physically they can refer back to.
Yeah.
I was looking at trying to put it together similar to like a PT book that you create in Canva, so that they've got aspects of that. I've got even putting stuff like links for meal prep for obviously for winter that people get sick. This is ways to keep on top of their nutrition bits and pieces. So creating something that I can email to them saying, this is the outline, this is, they can go back and relook at over time.
Yeah.
How did you go about creating that?
Yeah, so you can get that done. You can put it together on Canva, no problem. You can even use the template that's in there for the student pack, and that's like a 26-page piece. Basically, cheers, Jack, as well. You can just amend that. Just amend it however you want. You can change the theme of it straight away. Click a button. The theme will change, and then you can just make it your own. You can use that there for whatever you need. It's a 26 or 28-page document, whatever it may be, that's filled with value, that is ready to go, that is to be sold to people at a very low ticket price if they want something where they're asking for everything, willing to pay. So I would just use it as a template and start gutting it and bring it up with the value that you want.
Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. All right, what do we got? No worries, Erin. Great to see you as well. Okay. Let me just have a look at this chat. What have we got here? Okay, cool. I think we're all good with the chat anyway. Anything else, guys? I'd say so far, until anyone raises their hand or whatever, like it's a great sort of deep Q&A session that was never going to be an hour long, was it? But it's always ending up being an hour long, these Q&As. But they're good. But we took a nice little deep route with this one. I think it's a good time for it. I think this whole mental health thing, and this is not just because I go through a little bit of crap at the moment. I think it's becoming very apparent to see that it's very much alive and out there in the society, right? Mental health at the moment. So just whatever you do, champions, make sure that you know that you're there for your clients and just be there for them, because this mental health crap, it's not crap. It's real, and there are people that really struggling through shit. They need people like you guys. You know what I mean? So keep doing your awesome stuff. Any other questions? We're good.
Sort of on that note, then.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
How do you manage it? So, like, my mental health's been shit for this last couple weeks. Between the gym management stuff and just workload and juggling everything. How do you manage it, especially when you've got trainers and that under you, people relying on you to be able to bring in certain clients, and then checking in with people and making sure that you're showing up with the energy and the value that you need to? This might be like a personal thing too, but I'd love any advice from anyone. But how to continue to show up in a way that how you're feeling when you're not 100% doesn't come across to the clients, and so that you can still give the value that you normally give when you're not 100%.
It's a good question.
I go now, sir.
Go, Nate.
Yeah, brother.
So back in, Simon would know, 2019, 2020, I think we met 2019, I had huge bouts of anxiety, stress, bit of depression, not just because of COVID, but going through some severe relationship shit.
Yeah.
And still had a trainer on board. I was like the manager of my old gym, and I still had to obviously keep up the ship. I still grew to obviously not as best as I could, but in those times when I was stressful, I remember just sleeping for 2-3 hours at night, waking up at 2-3 in the morning, and that was it. I was up because I was just anxious up to my up to my eyeballs, I would just do the minimum of what it took to keep everyone happy. Not the minimum as in, this is what you get, see you later. It's like, okay, I know I have to do this client, blah, 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 but I didn't really do anything extra in regards to try and grow the business because the energy and focus wasn't there. And if I tried to put any extra energy into other things, tried to make click funnels. And I remember Simon, it took me probably like over a month, 2 months just to make a click funnels page because I couldn't focus and just make one page. I even had to get Simon to make it for me. My mind just wouldn't click. I couldn't learn anything, but I was just doing the bare minimum. And that got me through. I still managed to look after my trainer, still managed the gym, got through all the shit, business-wise, focusing on, okay, these are the clients I need. If I put out, 1 or 2 posts a week, I'm doing the minimum, I'm still being relevant. My trainer has some clients, okay, give them enough to stay afloat and try to keep them happy, of course, then at least the business is staying afloat. Because I found in those times, just keeping your head above water when you're going through shit is the best way to survive. If you're doing too much extra, then everything is going to crumble because you're putting all your energy, hands in so many baskets, you're just going to overflow yourself. I hope that makes sense and that helps. It is hard to grow in times of anxiety and depression, but as long as I found doing the minimum so I could still go to at least fall asleep okay at night, then within myself, I was okay about that with the business.
Yeah, that helps heaps. That actually resonates like a lot because that's what I haven't been doing. Yeah, I've been still trying to do the shit that I do when I'm like really good and still trying to like build and like actually do exactly what you're saying, like create more ClickFunnels videos, do more marketing stuff, reaching out to like lots of people. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
So you're not going to have the energy to do that shit, bro. You're not like
do things that you think you need to do. When your business is good and you're thinking good, you put more time in the business. When you're feeling shit, put time into you. So, okay, I'm going to do the business for 4 or 5 hours today, then I'm going to go for a walk and just take my phone, put my phone away and just be by myself for 30 minutes. Do the things you wouldn't normally do because you want to feel better. As soon as you feel better, bang, you could go back into the business.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's right. It's all good. It's what I did.
It's really, really good, Nate. Really, really good insight, man. And do what you've got to do to keep the business ticking. Like, obviously, there's certain things that, at the scale of your business that you have to do. You've got a luxury position where the amount of sessions you take per week, you don't have to take all by yourself, which is great. But there are certain things that you need to do to show up each day. It's like, for me, my non-negotiables are I will show up and I will answer my Voxer messages, right? That's it. At the moment, I ain't prospecting for new clients, man. I don't want any. I don't want any new clients right now. I don't. And like, for me, that's normally something that takes like another hour a day, hour and a half, like with the voice message reach outs that we do and stuff to communicate with people personally, because we are real people, right? That right now is an example of a task that I put to the back of the pile. I ain't gonna do that, man. I'd rather go sleep for an extra hour and a half rather than do that, or go train and get a session in, or like Nave said, go do a walk, or spend the extra hour being there for clients that might be going through some tough stuff too, and give them some extra attention so that they value you even more and see you as like they've got reassurance that they're with the best coach possible. So yeah, hope that helps. Anyone else? Are we good?
I also just want to say, like, give yourself time on the weekend. Like, set time aside to just do whatever you actually feel like doing in that time. Even if you have like a list of things you need to do, you'll do when you're feeling better, in my opinion.
Always very, very wise. People can get consumed if you don't have something to do stuff for yourself at the weekend. You get consumed by doing things for the business. You need to do stuff for the family and for yourselves. You know what I mean? Always remember that, guys.
Ironically enough, that's what I haven't been doing too, because my partner and kids and that have been away. So I was like, I'll just work all weekend. So then I probably haven't disconnected. So I probably haven't disconnected at all for like the last nearly 2 weeks. So cheers, Tammy.
break out the PlayStation or something, dude. That's what I do, man. My missus. Well, actually, no, I don't. I work more when the missus goes away, but like, you know, it's not healthy. But break out the PlayStation, watch stuff that you normally wouldn't watch with the missus. You know what I mean? Like boy stuff, and then that's it. Cool. It's, you know.
And even when you do have like I don't have I have a family, but I don't have kids and like, you know, a husband or whatever, a house to run. But even when you do have plans, like don't give yourself like 4 different things to do on the weekend. Like you're gonna overdo it that way as well, like doing other things that aren't work. So like people need to understand, like tell them like, look, I've my mental health shit at the moment, like I have to cancel or whatever it is. And the other thing is tell your clients, like I might be too open with my clients, but I find like it's a relationship you have with them. And like, I don't just speak to them about them. We speak about me as well. Half of them are like my parents' age. I think they're my parents as well. So like, you have to have a relationship with them that they understand that, you know, you're going through a hard time. They'll also be understanding if you need to cancel last minute or change something around. Like, I know you have different circumstances and like 100 trainers, but that's just another thing.
No, it applies. And yeah, I funnily enough had to do that last week. So like last Thursday, I had to cancel all my afternoon sessions for same sort of stuff. And exactly like you said, communicated it with clients, and these very same clients were like ringing me up and just making sure I was okay, and saying that it was all good to move sessions and that around. So yeah, no, spot on. Cheers, Dan.
All right, well done. I think this has been a real good session, guys. Sebi, good to see you as well, brother, at the end here. Yeah, so been a great session, and I think one that's very fitting for the week that is. So thank you for everybody, and to speak on behalf of everyone who has attended, thank you to everyone else too for your input. So well done, guys. And I'll speak to you all soon on Voxer. Let's go. Peace and love. Next, Easter doesn't actually affect next week's seminar, no, but enjoy a long weekend, everyone, this week, right? Long weekend, do stuff for you, do stuff for the family, and don't work too much, Tane. I'll speak to you all soon, guys.